This is the Voice of Vietnam.
This is the Voice of Vietnam, broadcasting from Hanoi, capital of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of Vietnam. I'm Nguyen. In today's show, after the news, current affairs will take a closer look at Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính ongoing trip to Kuwait, Algeria, and South Africa. Colorful Vietnam 54 ethnic groups will explore the New Rise celebration of the Lati ethnic community. And finally, Personality of the Week will feature emeritus educator Phạm Xuân Khánh, who has led the way in transforming vocational education. But first, here's the news.
In the news headlines, the party leader and top legislator joined Great National Unity Festival in Hanoi.
The party and state create the best condition for students to promote the tradition of studiousness.
Red carpet welcome ceremony for Vietnamese Prime Minister is held in Kuwait.
And former Bangladesh Prime Minister sentenced to death. Now for the news in details.
Party General Secretary To Lâm and National Assembly Chairman Chân Thành joined budding Wood residents in celebrating the Great National Unity Festival on Sunday evening in Hanoi. Chairman Mẫn informed the participants of the country's outstanding socioeconomic achievements, adding that the result is partly attributed to the contribution of the people of budding Wood and capital Hanoi in general. The top legislator called on Hanoi to focus on the implementation of the Municipal Party Congress resolution.
It is crucial to strongly renew the content and methods of the Fatherland Front operation at all levels. Front and mass organization cadres must be close to the people, close to the grassroots, and close to the digital space. They must also listen to and talk with the people, a role model, take responsibility, and report results of their work.
General Secretary To Lâm presented a statue of President Ho Chi Minh visiting his hometown to the party committee, government, and people of Ba Dinh Wood. President Lương Cường on Monday said that the party and state have always created the best conditions for students to promote the nation's tradition of studiousness for a stronger and more humane Vietnam. In his address at a celebration of Vietnamese Teachers' Day in Hanoi, the president pointed out that over the past 80 years since the birth of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, education has stood side by side with the people, the nation, and the country's history. President Lương Cường requested.
Effectively implement the law on teachers, make appropriate policies to attract talents to educational institutions, persistently build school culture, quality culture, practical learning coupled with the exemplary responsibility of the teaching staff, strengthen comprehensive education of morality, intelligence, physical fitness, and aesthetics, forming a system of values for Vietnamese people in the new era. The most important is moral education. Cultivating people must start with personality, then education about knowledge and skills.
Kuwaiti Prime Minister Sheikh Ahmad Abdullah Al-Ahmad Al-Shabah presided over the welcome ceremony for Vietnamese Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and the high-ranking Vietnamese delegation on Monday in Kuwait City. The Kuwaiti Prime Minister invited Vietnamese counterparts to walk on the red carpet to the official stand, where the national anthems of both countries were played. Multiple Kuwaiti news sites on Monday reported on the ongoing official visit by Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính to Kuwait. KuwaitTimes.com, Kuna.net.kw, and TimesKuwait.com underlined Prime Minister Chính keynote speech at the Kuwaiti Saud and Al Sabah Institute of Foreign Affairs, presenting Vietnam's foreign policy and strategic vision. According to Kuwaiti media, Kuwait-Vietnam cooperation has been developing steadily, especially in trade investment. Bilateral trade turnover reached $7.3 billion in 2024, the highest between Vietnam and any Middle Eastern partner. Vietnam's exports to Kuwait are diversifying from agriculture and aquatic products to fresh fruits, wooden furniture, machinery, equipment, and electronics. Among the Middle Eastern countries, Kuwait has the largest investment portfolio in Vietnam. The key project is the Nguyen refinery and petrochemical complex, with Kuwait's capital contribution of about $3.5 billion. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính said Vietnam and Kuwait will upgrade bilateral relations during his ongoing visit to the Middle Eastern country. Mr. Chính made the remarks during a meeting with staff of Vietnamese representative officers and Vietnamese community in Kuwait on Sunday evening. He affirmed that the government encourages carriers to open direct flight routes to the Middle East.
Chính sách đối với lại cộng đồng người Việt Nam ở nước ngoài thì vừa qua chúng ta làm một loạt cái chính sách tạo điều
We have
kiện.
promulgated a series of policies that create conditions for the overseas Vietnamese community, which is an indispensable part of the Vietnamese nation.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and his wife also presented gifts to the Vietnamese community in Kuwait. The ongoing Gia Lai Provincial Ethnic Culture Heritage Festival in Pleiku Ward features cultural and artistic performances representing the diverse ethnic communities living in the locality. Highlights include Cham folk culture, gong performances by Jarai people, Mueang gong ensembles, can dancing and flute playing by the Hmong, and traditional musical instruments performances by artisan groups from across the nation. According to Lê Anh Tuấn, director of Gia Lai Provincial Museum, the festival blends performances with hands-on cultural experiences, folk games, and culinary activities to honor heritage of ethnic communities.
Chương trình ngày hội càng đổi mới thì bảo tàng có mời thêm các đơn vị tham gia.
The program has been renewed. This year we have invited the Vietnam Museum of Fine Arts to host an exhibition, The Central Highlands in Vietnamese Painting, along with private collectors showcasing traditional Áo Dài costumes. Visitors can explore scenic landscape and unique cultural expression of different ethnic groups, contributing to heritage preservation, promotion, and especially tourism development in Gia Lai.
Hanoi has celebrated the 10th anniversary of tug of war rituals and games, being recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. An international conference on Saturday looked back on the 10-year journey of preserving and promoting heritage values, as well as shared experiences in cooperation, creation, and protection of heritage. Sunday's performance of tug of war rituals and games involved GGC troops from South Korea and 8 typical tug-of-war communities of Vietnam. At the event, the Vietnam Tug-of-War Heritage Community Network was launched, marking a new step in the journey of preserving and developing the precious intangible cultural heritage.
And now for the world news. Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal on Monday sentenced former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death for crimes against humanity over her government's violent crackdown on student-led protests last year. The former leader exiled in India from last August was tried in absentia after the United Nations said up to 1,400 people may have been killed in the violence and thousands of others injured. The International Crimes Tribunal, Bangladesh Domestic War Crimes Court located in the capital Dhaka, delivers verdict amid tight security. The 78 years old is the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who led the country to independence. South Korea and the U.S. began a joint cybersecurity exercise Monday to strengthen their combined readiness posture against potential cybersecurity threat from enemies. The Cyber Alliance drills slated to run through Friday are taking place at a training facility in Maryland involving Korea's Cyber Operation Command and the U.S. Cyber Command. During the exercise, the second since last year, personnel from both countries will practice rapid information sharing and response procedures during simulated digital attacks. The two nations also plan to expand digital cooperation through joint exercises, intelligence sharing, participation in multinational drills, and the exchange of technical expertise and specialized personnel. 45 Indian people died after a bus carrying Umrah pilgrims collided with a diesel tanker near Saudi Arabian city of Medina, sparking a major fire. Only one person survived. The group had traveled from Hyderabad to Jeddah on November the 9th with plans to return on November the 23rd. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his deepest condolences to the families of the victims, adding that the Indian Embassy in Riyadh and the Consulate General in Jeddah are providing all possible assistance. The Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. said a window of opportunity for the normalization of Russian-U.S. ties has opened, and both sides have prospect for improving cooperation. The embassy's statement, which comes on the 92nd anniversary of diplomatic relations between Russia and the U.S., said that in today's multipolar world, opportunities have emerged for Russia and the U.S. to normalize relations based on the principle of equality, respect for national interests, and peaceful coexistence. It recalls several milestones in Russia-U.S. relations and noted that although bilateral ties have gone through ups and downs, the two countries have always found solutions and recognized their responsibility for maintaining global security.
Now to end the news, a recap of the top stories. Party leader and top legislator join Great National Unity Festival in Hanoi.
The party and state create the best condition for students to promote the tradition of studiousness.
Red carpet welcome ceremony for Vietnamese Prime Minister is held in Kuwait.
And former Bangladesh Prime Minister sentenced to death. That's the news on VOV.
And now let's see what we have today in our current affairs segment. From November 16th to 24th, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính will pay official visits to Kuwait and Algeria, attending the G20 summit and conducting bilateral activities in South Africa. A series of strategic engagements will lay the groundwork for expanding Vietnam's partnerships and raising its international profile in the new era. This is the first visit by a Vietnamese prime minister to South Africa since diplomatic ties were established in 1993. It's also the first official visit to Algeria in 10 years and to Kuwait in 16 years by a Vietnamese head of government. Prime Minister Chính trip delivers an important message, broadens cooperation, creates momentum for economic and investment collaboration in the Middle East and Africa, and affirms Vietnam's international standing to the G20. Vietnam has strong, friendly cooperation with Kuwait, Algeria, and South Africa. South Africa is Africa's largest economy, the 2025 G20 chair, and a key member of BRICS. Algeria is one of Vietnam's closest partners in Africa and currently serves as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council. Kuwait this year holds the chairmanship of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Vietnam and those three countries are currently embracing new roles in their respective development path. Many Middle Eastern and African nations view Vietnam as a model of successful reform and a country making increasingly active and responsible contributions to the international community, which is strengthening political trust and shared values between Vietnam and its partners in the region. Deputy Foreign Minister Nguyen said the Prime Minister's trip sends a powerful message that Vietnam attaches great importance to deepening relations with regional partners and is opening a new stage of strategic, practical cooperation.
Chuyến công tác cũng là dịp để chúng ta đẩy mạnh kết nối với 3 điểm đến.
The trip creates an opportunity for us to strengthen connection with three strategic countries in the region. It helps shape a new vision for ties between Vietnam and the Middle East and Africa, built on trust, sustainability, and the pursuit of shared prosperity.
This is the second consecutive year that Vietnam has been invited to the G20 summit, which reflects its growing credibility, stature, and role, and the recognition Vietnam gets from the G20 and other partners for its development achievements and responsible contributions to global issues. Attending this year's summit provides Vietnam with an opportunity to reaffirm its consistent foreign policy of being a trusted partner of the international community, ready to join hands in tackling global challenges based on mutual respect, understanding, and a shared commitment to human progress, Deputy Foreign Minister Hang said.
Thì với tư cách là khách mời của Chủ tịch G20 Nam Phi, Thủ tướng Chính phủ.
At the G20 summit, the Prime Minister will share policy messages contributing to global effort to promote economic growth, mitigate risks facing the global economy, and enhance cooperation in strategic sectors such as minerals, energy, and reforms of global trade, finance, and investment system, at a time when the world's reshaping rules and norms.
Vietnam's active participation in proposals at the G20 and other global forums affirm its consistent foreign policy of contributing to shaping a more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable international economic order that reflects the voices and perspectives of developing countries. Prime Minister Chính trip is expected to open new avenues of strategic cooperation and reaffirm Vietnam's standing in a rapidly changing world.
Colorful Vietnam.
Vietnam's 54 ethnic groups.
Up next on VOV is the Colorful Vietnam segment. The New Rice celebration holds great significance in the spiritual life and agricultural production of the La Chi ethnic community. Through generations, this tradition remains intact.
The La Chi group has a population of about 17,000 people living in northern mountain provinces. They maintain a rich cultural heritage of customs and festivals, such as the Khu Cu Tê New Year Festival and New Rice celebration, as well as folk arts like love duet singing, traditional crafts, and folk games. The New Rice celebration has been faithfully preserved in daily life in agricultural practices of the La Chi people. Every year, when the rice ripens in the terrace fields and on the hillsides, the La Chi prepare for the New Year celebration. The event is usually held around the beginning of the 9th lunar month. After harvesting the very first rice grains, the village elders choose a good day and informs the community about the ceremony. Artisan Long Đức Trung of Xuân Giang Commune, Tuyên Quang Province said.
Thời trong làng, thời cúng ấy, người ta chọn một ngày đẹp.
The village shaman chooses a good day for the worship. Community folk games will also be held to promote the La Chi cultural identity. People from other ethnic groups are invited to join.
According to La Chi belief, before tasting the new rice, families must worship their ancestors and give thanks to heaven, earth, and deities for favorable weather and bountiful crops. Households prepare offerings together. La Chi Vong of Bản Phùng Commune, Tuyên Quang said.
Cơm La Chi thì bao gồm là phải có thịt chuột này, thịt cá này.
The offerings must include red meat, fish, birds, and new sticky rice. Families must schedule with the shaman in advance to hold the ceremony. The new rice ceremony is held in one day.
A pair of buffalo horns is an indispensable offering because the buffalo is considered a sacred animal in the La Chi culture and spiritual belief. The horns are used to hold worship liquor. Ginger is also a must as it represents the connection between yin and yang. The shaman and the host arrange the offerings on a tray placed in front of the ancestral altar. They pour liquor and invite the deities and ancestors to enjoy the new rice and pray for their blessing. After the ritual, the family gathers for the meal. Each person takes a small bowl of rice with fish for good luck and then invites neighbors to taste the newly harvested rice. All the hosts and guests will enjoy folk games such as swinging, throwing cloth balls, climbing a bamboo pole, tug-of-war, and stick pushing. Đỗ Minh Hường, a tourist attending the ceremony in Xuân Giang Commune, said.
Em cảm thấy rất là vui và rất là tự hào khi mà thấy mọi người.
I'm very impressed by the La Chi incredible hospitality. I hope this beautiful cultural tradition will continue to be preserved for future generations.
The new rice celebration of the La Chi is warmly embraced by the multi-ethnic communities living in Tuyên Quang Province. Nguyễn Văn Hoàng, Vice Chairman of the Xuân Giang Commune People's Committee, said.
Tiếp tục duy trì bảo tồn, giữ gìn.
We will continue to safeguard and promote the cultural values of the La Chi to other ethnic communities in the region as well as visitors.
Through the new rice celebration, the La Chi community hopes to educate younger generations of their intangible cultural heritage.
Now let's see what we have today in our Personality of the Week segment. In his 15 years working at Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology, Principal Phạm Xuân Khánh has helped to transform the school into a model institution. His career has been a testament to dedication, innovation, pioneering, and a passion for education.
In early 2009, while serving as head of the electronics faculty at Hanoi University of Industry, Phạm Xuân Khánh was invited by the Hanoi People's Committee to help establish a new public institution dedicated to training high-quality human resources for Hanoi. That institution became the Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology, with Dr. Khánh as its principal. As the founder of a vocational college at a time when former university education and overseas study were booming, Khánh faced significant challenges. He forged his own path, designing training programs matched to labor market demands, building strong partnership with enterprises, and pursuing a consistent strategy of innovation with at least 70% of training time devoted to hands-on practice. In his view, if training is not linked to real production and does not reflect the needs of businesses, graduates will not be able to compete.
Enterprises work with us in designing and operating training programs and allowing students to work while they study so that once they graduate, they can continue as the enterprise employees. This means that from the day they start school, students are already employees of the enterprise, are paid salaries, and have all their training costs covered by the enterprise. This partnership is among the best in Vietnam today.
Under the leadership of Dr. Phạm Xuân Khánh, Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology has asserted itself as a center of high-quality vocational training. The school offers training in 46 occupations with majors in artificial intelligence, AI, semiconductor chip design, smart energy, ESG circular economy, industrial logistics, and high-speed railway engineering. This is in line with the development orientation of Hanoi and Vietnam in the era of digital transformation and green transition, Mr. Khánh said.
High-tech is the future of the industrial sector. We focus on training human resources who are disciplined and capable of meeting the requirements of the industries that are important to Hanoi and the key economic region of northern Vietnam.
Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology has signed cooperation agreements with more than 400 local and foreign businesses, including the training of 800 students for South Korea Hanwha Group and more than 1,000 students for Viettel, Thăng Long, and Hưng Thịnh companies. These programs let students learn in a real working environment where they can hone their skills and professional discipline. The employment rate of the school graduate has never fallen below 95%. Ms. Bùi Thu Hương, Deputy Director of MB Tech Vietnam, said.
Trường cao đẳng công nghệ cao hiện tại đang là tâm điểm chú ý của các nhà tuyển dụng. Học sinh ở đây sau khi ra trường không những là
Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology has attracted a lot of attention from employers. The students, after graduation, have not only solid professional knowledge, but also soft skills. Enterprises that cooperate with the school provide expertise in modern equipment. The students receive 70 to 100% of their training costs throughout their studies, while the enterprises gain a workforce with strong skills.
Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology regularly hosts national skills competition, teaching equipment contests, the ASEAN Skills Competition, and the World Skills Competition. Its students have won a number of medals. Hoàng Bình is an alumnus.
Tôi là một trong những sinh viên khóa đầu tiên của trường, được thầy trực tiếp hướng dẫn.
I was one of the college's first intake students and had the opportunity to be guided by the principal in electronics. Now I'm a lead technician at an industrial zone in Nguyen province.
To improve the quality of teaching, Khánh spends a lot of time doing scientific research. He led many ministry-level projects and city and institution-level initiatives and has developed many effective teaching models. Vice Principal Lê Danh Quang said.
Dr. Khánh is a very dynamic educator. He has strong professional expertise and an excellent strategic vision for the development of the college.
Dr. Phạm Xuân Khánh has been awarded the second-class and third-class labor order by the President and the title National Emulation Fighter, conferred by the Prime Minister in 2025. Hanoi Vocational College of High Technology has been selected by the Prime Minister to be a standard for training high-quality human resources for Hanoi and northern Vietnam.
You've just listened to Coffee, a Vietnamese song by the artist Nguyen. Thank you for tuning in to today's program on VOV. I'm Hồng Phương and see you next time.